Today I'm making ravioli. I've already put my flour. I have no idea how much flour there is. I emptied this whole thing. I suppose I should measure sometime, but I don't. I'm too lazy. I put 12 eggs and now I'm gonna scramble them all up. I also prepared the cheese. The cheese is just fresh ricotta and I know there's 1.9 kilograms. I put pepper and I put 2 eggs and I put some Romano cheese in here. And I think I put too much pepper. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, and I think there's a big bite, but we'll let you know when it's cooked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start scrambling this up, and all I do is I take it, I scramble all this up, and because it's ravioli, Nanna always told me that you need the dough to stretch. This is not like regular spaghetti dough. So I have some water. Again, I have no idea how much this is. I suppose I shouldn't do that. Now I've got to get another glass. Hang on. Silly me. So Elaine, follow me. I'm right here, I'm getting water. Silly me. Because I suppose it wouldn't be very sanitary if I use the same glass I just drank out of. So I'm not gonna put the whole thing in, and I'm gonna put this, again, I don't know, I have no idea. She never measured. So I'm gonna do this, keep scrambling, and then I go and I grab it, and I'm gonna put all this together, and I'm gonna end up with a big mound of dough. So I'll let you go and I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, so now I just thought I'd show you what happens when you mix all the flour with all the eggs, and now you gotta get it in a big bunch. So it's really gooey, and so I just go and grab some flour, but what you have to make sure of, don't put too much because then it becomes like straw. And again, I'm just doing this by feel, and so all I'm doing is mixing the flour with the eggs and making this mound of dough. And again, be careful not to put too much flour because it's gonna get too dry. So I can feel it, it's really kind of like too loose. So I'm gonna try and put more dough in here. And then all I'm doing is, again, blending the flour with the eggs. And then what I'm gonna be doing is working the dough. And that's what I have to do to complete this whole process. So so this is what I'm gonna do, and I'll keep doing it, and I'll come back to you. Are you ready? Am I on? Okay, so now the fun part, and this is where you've got to have a heavy hand, because I never understood why my grandmother did this forever on end. And then when I figured it out, it was because you want to have a really even consistency of the dough, so that when you're cutting it, you're not going to be cutting and seeing inside the dough. All the flour is going to be mixed in. Because see, right now, this stuff is not blended properly, so you need to, it's all apart. But so you need to knead that until it comes all blended. So that's all I'm doing is kneading. And that's all I keep doing, and I keep grabbing flour, I have no idea why, but I'm just doing it. Because that's how I remember my grandmother doing it. And so I'm just really heavy-handedly kneading this. And K-N-E-E-D-I-N-G, or is it K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G? K-N-E-A. Oh my God, I'm a really good speller, but I think it's K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G. So you're kneading, and so I can keep doing this, and I'll come back. Okay, so I have kneaded this, K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G, to the point where now I can show you why the dough itself, when I do this, and I remember Nanna doing this, she'd go like this. And I thought, what the heck are you doing? So what she was doing was showing me that everything is blended. There's no white stuff, like the flour is not in there. So that was really helpful when I got the aha moment when I figured it out. So anyway, I'm told this is not gluten-free, well, obviously. If Nanna heard that word, I think she probably would have interpreted it in a whole other way. So, okay, so I think my dough is pretty much ready now, and it looks really nice. And you can feel the sponginess of the dough, unlike spaghetti dough, because spaghetti dough is a lot harder, but this is a little spongy because of the water, and it'll make it easier when I'm making ravioli, and I'll show you why. You have to have it spongy. So, I'll be back. Are you ready? Okay, so for spaghetti and for gnocchi, you need a machine. So this is my machine, and when we had the house redone, we made sure that we had a place for the machine to go, because you have to have a really nice spot to work in and then have your machine, because you need that space. And so you only need one part of the machine. You don't need the cutting part. This is just to flatten it out. So it's not, I have to tighten this up a little tighter, and then so that the machine doesn't move when you're rotating the handle. Okay, so I need a knife, and I need the rolling pin. Okay, so the next part to this, now that I have my dough, I roll out, flatten it out just a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut pieces. And I cut them fairly a little wider than I would spaghetti. And I'll cut this in half, and you'll understand all of this as I do it. Because ravioli, I'm doing it the really old-fashioned. I'm not using any tools to make the ravioli at all. So what I do is I flatten it wide this way. If I was making spaghetti, I'd flatten it this way. But I'm not making spaghetti, I'm making ravioli, so I want it wide. So, and I always have to flour it because this sticks so much. Oh my God, it just sticks if you don't have it. So I'm just showing you a few pieces that I've cut because I don't want my, so I've got this on the widest setting of the machine, and I'm just gonna bring it through. Now, depending on what consistency you want for the ravioli, and don't ask if it's milliliters or millimeters or kilograms or I don't know, inches, whatever, but this is, I need it much longer than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, narrow it down so that it gets longer, and again I'm going to have to put flour on that. Okay, that's still not long enough or thin enough. So what I have to do is I have to make it thinner in the machine. So it's okay. My poor floor. Okay, I don't know why this doesn't stick. Anyway, this, and again, I do this by, I'm just playing with the settings. And as you can see, it's getting longer and longer and longer. And I don't think I want to make it any skinnier, but I will put it through the machine again because I need it to be a little longer and thinner. Can you see through? No, you can't see through. But it's a nice... So that's about what you're gonna do. And I wish I could measure the consistency, but you can actually see my hand through the pasta. So I guess when you can see through it, it's thin enough because you don't want it too thin, because then you're not gonna get enough. Okay, so I cheated while I was off doing something else. I made this, I put it through the machine one more time because I just didn't think that it was thin enough. It was too thick for my liking, and even now I think it's a little too thick, but anyway, I'm ready to put the cheese. So here are my tools. This here is I don't know if any of you know what this is, but this belonged to my grandmother, so it's an old tool, and I'll show you what to do with that in a minute. Fork and a spoon. So what you're gonna do is, what I do, is you're gonna place the cheese along the side, not in the middle, but closer to the edge. And you do that for the length of the pasta. And you can make these as big or as small as you want, but I like to do small because then I get more, because we love it so much. Now here's why the water came in handy. This differentiates the spaghetti dough from the ravioli dough. Sorry, now I'm gonna wash my hands. You're probably gonna go, oh girl, she sucked her hand or she sucked her fingers or something. Okay, so what I do now is I take this, and you see, I need to bring this over. That's the water in the dough. That allows me to bring this over and stretch it over. If this was spaghetti dough, there's no way you'd be able to do this because it'd be just too hard. So now you bring it over, then individually, you do this, separate it, then you take your tool and you cut in between. Now, my ravioli, there's never one that's exactly the same. And then with my fork, this is what we do. That creates the ravioli. Now, this is exactly how my grandmother used to do it. I know that we all have our own ways of doing stuff, but I learned from her, and this is exactly what she had me do when she was making the ravioli. So what I'm doing is, obviously I'm using the fork to kind of make sure that it's all stuck together, and sometimes I'll trim it. It's not often I will, but I can trim it if I want to, but I don't, like if there's some corners here that are out there, and just to make it a little prettier, that's what I'll do. And voila, that's how you make ravioli a la Nanna. So I have a whole bunch of stuff, and my sister-in-law Elaine is gonna help me make the rest of them. So I'll come back when I'm all done, and you'll see how many I can make out of 12 eggs. All right, see you soon.